In autumn in Paris, struggling shops get creative to survive. Toy store owner Maria Baudier is grateful November has been unusually mild in Paris this year. She's trying to survive France's second coronavirus lockdown by selling Lego sets and coloring books through her open front door. From behind a trestle table, Baudier has taken to handing over her orders without letting customers in a makeshift manner replicated up and down her street and across France amid a minefield of do's and don'ts. For stores deemed non-essential, it's not exactly clear to what extent we are doing it right, Baudier said, breaking away to show one shopper little bags of marbles. She said she had not found official instruction on how to operate, but had not been told off so far, and was otherwise resorting to social media sites like Facebook to try and drive online sales for the Enchanted Tree. Formerly banned from opening to shoppers since late October, stores on the no-go list in France, from booksellers to florists, are experimenting to avoid closing down fully following a 2-month lockdown in the spring. The French government has so far been tolerant, and a few shops have so far been fined for breaches, said Francis Haliby, the head of Federation of Small Retailers, which is campaigning for all stores to reopen by December 1st or earlier. But the improvised operations are symptomatic of a more unwieldy lockdown this time, as resentment against online giants like Amazon brews, and retailers fear for their livelihood. In Baudier's corner of the city, just by the central place de la République on Radi Chatu Diyar, one plant store, Elder Evra, is still handing over goods through a hatch in the doorway. Customers can try and compose banquets by pointing at flowers from a distance, or pick out vases and pots on its website and come and collect them. Further up the road, vegetarian cafe and juice bar Yami is open for takeouts, operating with reduced staffing as some employees remain on furlough schemes. It has converted its table space into a grocery store, lining up the boxes of butternuts, squashes, and broccoli stems it usually kept for its kitchen. The trickle of vegetable sales are not making up for the broader hit to revenues, said Laurel Ditachi, who normally runs the restaurant side of the business. But the cafe wants to hold on to some regular for when it can reopen, she said. It's one way for us to keep a relationship going with some customers. Off-limit items. Even some shops allowed to let customers in, including a local bakery, said business was down in a neighborhood with many offices. An indoor market on the street home to fruit and fish stores was practically deserted on a midweek afternoon. Still, an upscale kitchenware and a home decor store nearby, La Tridasserie, is the envy of the vintage clothing shops, printmakers, and fabric stores that are completely off limits. and updated the government list of what goods were deemed essential or not of an unsuccessful campaign in France to keep booksellers open in early November gave Pots in the Pants the green light. Manager Dennis Gifford is now letting customers in again. Displays of base drawers and shelving units are sealed off with tape, but shoppers can browse for porcelain baking dishes, oak chopping boards, and glassware. The cover-up of essential and non-essential goods was unfair for small stores, including for its neighbors, when many were in a position to implement effective sanitary controls. Gifford said, but he too is trying to get by. We've got to pay the rent.